Well, hello and welcome to this edition of the Dean's Video Newsletter. First, I'd like to welcome everybody back in the new year. I hope you all had an excellent holiday season, that with your families or your loved ones, that it was safe for you and that you've had a good chance to relax. You're going to need it. It's going to be a very busy year coming forward, and particularly with a lot of new developments on some of our training programs, new individuals who are joining us, celebrations that we're going to be doing in the course of this year. And I want to touch a little bit on each one of those. Firstly, with regards to welcoming new people who are joining our staff, there are a lot of really key people who are now going to be joining us in key leadership roles that are going to help us in advancing our strategic plan and a number of the programs that we're developing. And not in any particular hierarchical order, but I'd like to welcome Dr. Mohammed Raab. Dr. Raab is joining us as the Interim Director of the Interfaculty Program in Public Health. So our Masters of Public Health program, as many of you know, is due to start in September of 2013. There's been a tremendous amount of work being done on this in terms of curriculum development and beginning the planning process for that program. As many of you who have been involved in developing new courses are aware, this is not something that happens overnight. What Dr. Raab will be bringing to us is an incredible worldwide experience in public health. He's just going to be finishing a term with the World Health Organization and has been responsible for a lot of their activities in the Sudan. He's trained exceptionally well in public health and particularly in tropical countries, and has been instrumental in the development of a number of key programs, both in North America but as well in Europe and Asia on the public health front. So we welcome him here. He'll bring a very interesting viewpoint to public health training for us. Dr. Paul Links is joining us as the new Chair Chief of Psychiatry. Dr. Links is joining us from Toronto, where he was a chair in psychiatry with a specific interest in his research in looking at adolescent and teenager issues, particularly with respect to suicide. He's done a lot of research in China on this and will be a tremendous link for us as we begin to strengthen our educational and research links with China over the course of the next year. We're very excited to welcome Dr. Denise Figlewitz as the Vice Dean, Research and Innovation. Dr. Figlewitz comes to us as a neurogeneticist. She has a stellar track record on a research front, having been involved in a disease that I'm very familiar with. Those would be the motor neuron diseases, as one of the initial discoverers of the first gene of the familial ALS variants, that being the mutant SOD1 gene. For the last 5 years, she's been the Executive Director at the ALS Society of Canada, where she's taken the research program there and moved it from a very small program to one of the leading international programs in research funding, with tentacles that move right out into graduate and undergraduate training through to establishment of a number of endowed chairs and positions. We're looking forward to Denise joining us and bringing her unique skill set to advancing our research programs. We're also welcoming Dr. Merrick Zwarenstein out of Toronto. He's a senior ISIS investigator who will be joining us as the new director of the Center for Family Medicine Studies. Merrick brings a tremendous skill set in a number of areas, really quite intriguing. He'll be bringing expertise on education program development and has been involved with development of a virtual university with the Karolinska University in Africa, and also has done some very intriguing research looking at outcomes and community research in healthcare delivery in Ontario. He'll be a unique asset, and we'll work closely with Dr. Raab as well as we develop our MPH program. There are many others who are going to be joining us in the near future, and I'll tell you more about them as we come along to their time of arrival here. But those are 4 key people right off the bat that give you a bit of an idea as to the breadth of our program and how we're opening it up with that. This is also a year of celebration for us. This will be the graduating year for the first class that started at the Windsor campus of the Schulich School. So these are the group of students who were the inaugural students who began and completed their medical school training in Windsor. They will be the first ones off the assembly line, so to speak, coming out and then moving into their residency programs. As Jerry Cooper, our Associate Dean for the Windsor program, has pointed out to me on many occasions, you only get to do this once in the lifetime of a school. So we're going to be doing it in style. There will be a number of things that are going on in Windsor to celebrate this, some of them with just the students themselves, others with the community. Windsor has been very much like the rest of our family in the medical school, with tremendous support from community members, both just on the time that is donated, but as well on resources and funding that help build the school. I think it's appropriate that we celebrate that, and certainly will be doing so. We've had a couple of really interesting major stories that have come forward. Most recently, and I'd like to congratulate Dr. Kang on their moving forward into phase 1 clinical trials looking at a vaccine to be used in HIV. I often get asked the question, and even did after the announcement of his phase 1 studies going forward, why are we so intent on focusing on research and academic deliverables in a medical school such as this? Well, it's important to remember that what we do in a medical school here is train physicians, but that's only a small part of what we do. We train dentists, but we also train a whole cadre of students, in fact, the largest proportion of our students in basic sciences. Knowing that we have this type of cutting-edge research where we're understanding the new frontiers of manipulating viruses, understanding how we can use genetics to change how they're represented as an infective agent to the host, is massive. It's something you don't have to read in the textbooks. You can go down the hallway and be taught by the person who actually developed it. As a medical school, if we're going to attain the goals that I'd like us to do on an international platform, these are the sort of things that we need to hear about and to see moving forward. So congratulations to Dr. Kang and his team. This has been a tremendous amount of work to get here, and it really is, should this all work, the holy grail for the treatment and prevention of HIV. You can't underestimate the importance of this particular discovery. There are many more of them, and we'll be talking about them as we move through the course of the year. This is also going to be a very important year for you to keep your eye on the ball of what's happening in the faculty. We've done a lot of work over the course of the last year and a half, which really culminated in a realignment of what our budget processes look like in the last part of 2011. So when you start to tie together our strategic plan, how we're going to resource that, what our recruitments are going to look like, the restructuring of our global health and internationalization initiatives, the restructuring of our research offices. When you put all of that into a single package, we're now really poised to begin to move forward and move the school in the direction that I'd like to see it become, and that is a very strong, research-intensive academic facility. This will be on all fronts, on our education, on our outcomes, on our basic sciences research. They are all equally valued and all will be moved forward on that template. We now are ready to do that. So in the course of this year, you're going to see a great deal of that starting to move forward. Something that we started off in the course of last year was to celebrate things that we do as a school. So yes, to those who have asked, there will be a gala event on the Friday evening of homecoming. As long as I'm sitting in this chair, we'll be doing it every year. I think it's an important venue for us to celebrate being a school and to bring back into the same environment, so to speak, individuals who might have just simply been colleagues in different years throughout the medical school. It's a chance to celebrate that. The Leaders in Innovation and the J. Allen Taylor Award will again be a major celebration of the science of a school. I'd like to welcome Arthur Brown to the steering committee for that. Dr. Brown, who's had really a stellar track record in spinal cord injury research there, will be taking the leadership role from Dr. Ravi Menon, who's done a great job of this over the last few years. And Dr. Brown will be helping steer us in the next several years as to what that celebration will be looking like. Lots of other opportunities during the course of the year, lots of things happening with our students, lots of fundraising events, both by the medical and dental students. So make sure you avail yourself of all of those. It's really quite a fascinating school to be part and parcel of, and lots of things going on. So this is just a bit of a highlight of what are we going to be doing over the course of the next year, the new people that are joining us, our new programs, and I'll tell you lots more about that as we continue to do these newsletters. So once again, thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.